gentlemen, and welcome back to the No Stipulation podcast, the podcast where we talk about one of our favorite things. He is Logan Loving, and I am Brendon Smith, and today we have the privilege of taking you through the last 2 weeks of WWE programming. Is that right, Logan?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks. So, Brendan, why don't you tell the people where you've been for the last 2 months?
So, for the last 2 months, I was in the process of getting a job. And in that time, I've since moved cities to be closer to that job. And I've kind of had a little bit of time adjusting to different time schedules. I've been working on 3 different time schedules, but I think my final hours are finally set. And now there's a little bit of stability in my life to where I can sit down and record this podcast with my buddy, Mr. Logan Living.
About goddamn time.
You've done a very good job of keeping the podcast afloat while I've been gone.
I I had no choice. It was me and a rotating cast of buddies
I know
for the
you've
last 2 months.
especially been doing good on X. Do we want to go into some of our recent success before we start?
What do you mean recent success?
I mean, you've had two wrestlers like your tweets since I've been
Ah,
gone.
yes, Speedball Mike Bailey is becoming one of my favorites, not just because he interacts with me on Twitter, but because he's very entertaining in the ring. And then Jordan Grace, also a while back. That was cool.
Yeah, that one was the one that really surprised me. Although she is very active on Twitter.
And I'm funny.
That is true. But
The more time that goes on, I feel like we may consider getting verified just for the engagement.
I think that would be a good idea. But
TikTok's been doing pretty well too.
yeah.
Finally have more followers than followed.
But let's take you through 2 weeks ago to
Yeah,
SmackDown, July 4th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We start the show off, and Jacob has jumped solo in the parking lot.
yeah, we're just kind of gonna run through the last week to get to the regular action. Jacob jumped solo in the parking lot. He won the US title in Saudi, so naturally Jacob doesn't like that. Cody comes out into the ring to start the show. New King of the Ring says he needs to get back at Cena. Randy comes out, says, "Hey, I would have kicked your skull out, but I didn't, so good for you." And then Drew McIntyre's music hits. He called Randy a washed up loser. He tells Cody, "Hey, I want you to win, so I can take that from you." And then he gets RKO'd.
Backstage, Aldis tells Charlotte that he has news, and Charlotte thinks Tiffy picked her for Evolution, but no, she's been inserted into a qualifier for the tag Fatal 4-Way at Evolution, and her partner is one Alexa Bliss. Charlotte reluctantly agreed, but warned her to stay out of the way.
That was not a surprising move, but this team has been surprisingly entertaining.
I've heard the crowd reactions that Charlotte's been getting, and it seems like they've
Dude,
turned her
Charlotte's
back
been
to a
getting
babyface.
Charlotte's been getting major pops. I love it. Uh Backstage, Aldis, Drew tells him, I want Randy. And Nick says, "Sure, man. Next Saturday night, good." Drew says, "Yeah." And he stared down Jacob Fud too as he walks away. Jacob wants solo. Aldis says, "Get a partner." Big Jim steps in. Yeet, Yadamine, main event.
We got the two
Uh,
woman power trip versus Mefab and versus the Secret Harvest.
I'm just
Reluctant,
kind of, I just mush names together when I come up with these tag names.
I gotcha, but reluctant partners Alexa and Charlotte they take the win with Alexa tagging herself in and taking the cover.
Then there was earlier tag division. Aldis is like, "Hey, one half of each team is going to face the Wyatts tonight." Everyone's mad. Fraxium laughs at DIY, which earns them a match against Fendrade.
Mm. We got
Swag.
yeah, tag division versus the Wyatts. Uh, you wrote here that the Wyatts look much smoother in this match.
They did. They did look much smoother. I think a big part of that was Eric Rowan. getting in there and kind of being the veteran and slowing the pace a little bit. But yeah, it was a really good match. Um, but he actually scared off Gargano from saving Sabin, and then he pins him. So they get a title match on the next SmackDown.
And we got Tiffy next. Stratton goes out to the ring to call out her opponent for Evolution. Jade quickly comes out and tells her it doesn't matter who she faces. Jade will become champion at SummerSlam. But Trish Stratus is her choice, and she makes her way down the ring. Trish talks about how hard she and others have had to work to get women's wrestling to where it is, and the WWE universe seemingly runs on Tiffy time, and that ends the segment.
There really isn't much to say about that. It's a good setup for a legend to be on the card for Evolution. Solo has a package, introduces Tala Tonga to the mix and himself as US champion, says his family is now complete. He called it some stupid name that I'm not going to be calling it, but like MTK or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure what that could stand for, but nevertheless, backstage, Trish praises Jade and walks off as she gets decked by Naomi. Aldis runs in and Jade demands Naomi, and it is later made official for Evolution Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no holds barred match.
I gotta say, just preface this: the build for Evolution was not what it should, not as good as it should have been. But damn, we're gonna talk about Evolution specifically. But damn, Fraxium versus Andrade, amazing tag match, and Andrade hits the message on Frazier to tag Fraxium's first loss on the main roster.
Hmm. Do you think they're kind of pushing for Rey Fenix and Andrade to be clumped together as a tag team now?
Well, they are officially a tag team after this last episode of SmackDown.
I gotcha.
They're like, hey, we're part of this mess now.
But
But
yet
yeah,
again, another great tag team for the SmackDown tag
absolutely.
division.
Raw's got to be looking at him like, dude, what the fuck?
They got the Wyatts and they have Rey Fenix and Andrade now.
Yep,
What is
that's
going
seven
on?
teams.
So many good tag teams on that
Teams.
brand. But
That is Fraxium, Wyatt's, Frendrade, DIY, MCMG, Profits, and Garza.
I think so. But
Crazy, crazy.
nevertheless, we go backstage and Damien wants to talk to Black about Truth. Alistair doesn't want to, but Priest tells him there's a match between them next week. Damien reminds him that he's not the good guy and maybe a tease at a future feud, which we'll talk about in the future.
Then you got Jim 2 versus Sateo in the main event. Jim and Jacob versus Solo and JC. Jacob pins Solo, and then he gets powerbombed through the table for his troubles. That's really all there is to talk about.
We got Raw July 7th from one of the sneaky good cities in the United States, Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, tell him about what happened here.
If you remember, whenever Daniel Bryan turned on the Wyatts, that was here. That was there in Providence, Rhode Island, and it had one of the biggest pops that year.
Everyone in the state was there.
Oh yeah, they probably could fit everybody in Rhode Island inside that arena.
Crazy. I just realized I wrote Set and Goons, not Seth and Goons. Um, so yeah, Seth and Goons take the mic. Braun actually takes the mic to advertise the first of their 3 matches tonight. He just really hates Sammy. And Bronson takes the mic. He says he's gonna kill Yeet Man, and Seth gives Paul the mic. Holy shit! Words. Seth gives Paul the mic, and Paul tells Penta his time is up.
We go now next to the Judgment Day and admiring the 2 sets of tag championships. While there's a memorial set up for Liv, which Raquel points out that she's very much alive and will be back soon.
Yeah, I love that. They're just treating her like she's gone.
These Judgment Day segments, it seems like this is where they throw their comedy in, and I'm loving it right now.
Yeah, it's a solid balance that they're working with right now because they know that there's not a real serious player in that locker room yet, but there could be, but they're still funny.
I mean, we'll see next week exactly what I'm talking about. But Finn says it takes a while for a shoulder injury. Raquel groans and tells Roxanne to get out there and deal with Kyrie like she promised. Finn and JD don't know their plan, but Dom thanks them for the get well cake. Neither man got the cake, and they walk off. Dom reads the cake and it says it's from AJ. Styles is creeping behind a cabinet, and Dom pulls out his doctor note and seemingly flaunts it at AJ
I
Styles.
love it. I love what they're doing with this. It's just an old man stalking this kid. He's like, "Oh, the second you're cleared, buddy,
It's
your
like
ass is grass."
Pennywise just lurking
Yeah.
around.
Michael Myers. Oh God. Then you got Kyrie versus Roxanne. Kyrie actually rolled Roxanne into a pin, stole the win, and then she and Raquel beat her ass before Asuka comes out for the save and cleans house.
Backstage, Kathy is interviewing Sammy. Sammy says his ribs are hurt up pretty bad, but he will seemingly wrestle anyway. Scarlett walks in, and as Sammy leaves, Jackie asks if she wants to say anything, but Scarlett says nah, walks away.
Jackie stared right at Scarlett's chest. Like it was not subtle. Kathy is one of us. Like she said, "Is there anything you want to say?" And she was looking dead on, right at him.
How do you know she just was very intimidated by her and was just looking down, not looking directly into her eyes?
Brendon,
I have not
based
seen the
on your
clip,
ears.
so
Well, take my word for it.
okay,
Right at him.
I'll take your word for it.
Then we got Baldy. He's with American Made. They're confused about El Grande Americano. So am I. Ivy shrugs it off. She says she wants in on the Battle Royal. Peter said, "Sure, man." Asuka and Kyrie step up. They're upset at the other two. Pierce has an idea: reunite the Kabuki Warriors to represent Raw at Evolution. They like that idea very much.
Now, next segment, it's a little short, but basically Nikki Bella is calling her shot in the Battle Royal, and she is going to compete in a match for the first time in seemingly years. Lord knows how long she's competed in a match for, but after that, we have Sammy versus Braun, and Sammy gets jumped pre-match by Karrion Kross, but he fights anyway. Braun breaks him in half with a spear and wins the match.
Karrion Kross seems very determined to get. It's basically getting Sammy to say "uncle." It's just like, dude, I will kill you before I don't let you say it.
I hadn't really been present for uh some of this feud. How would you say you're liking this feud so far?
It's okay. You know, it's getting cross TV time. I don't care, really. It could not happen and my day would not change. But the crowd is really into Karrion Cross right now. They want Cross. That's what they're saying. Anyway, backstage, War Raiders talking with Adam Pierce. The New Day are in their morning attire and ask for their rematch. Ivar and Eric are like, dude, are you serious? We didn't get one. You don't get one. Becky steps in, tells Pierce he sucks, consoles the New Day, calls Big E a scumbag, and she leaves.
Heels being heels to or friends heels being friends to other heels backstage.
It works for me.
Yeah. Next we have Becky. She's addressing how much BS this is that she has to be in this triple threat match at Evolution and how she didn't even get to pick her opponent. Bailey comes out but gets interrupted by Lyra storming down the ring. She calls Becky crazy. Bailey calls Lyra a little B word for raising Becky's hand. All out brawl
Bitch.
and come on now. I work for a publicly traded company. I can't be saying that.
Well, I said it. You didn't.
Fair enough. But an all out brawl ensues. Lyra hits a Nightwing on both women and stands tall at the end of the segment.
Tragic. The locker room, Paul's upset and he delivers the news. Sami Zayn is out indefinitely, which indefinitely just means like, hey, you're out until we need you. And then everyone cackles.
Get Jay versus Bronson Reed next. Uh, Uh, um, excuse me for 1 second. I have to clear my throat. And he throws a chair at Jey Uso, and it ends the match in a DQ. And afterwards, he hits him with several tsunamis.
Just throw the chair. Just like you have no reason to be throwing this office around, but you are. Go for it, buddy. Then you get LA Knight previewing their match at Saturday night's main event. Then you got the women's world title. Mommy on top, Genius to the Sky, etc. And then you got El Grande Americano versus Dragon Lee. I'm not even gonna touch this. It's just gross. Heyman taunts Penta in Spanish. Penta says, "Shut up, I'm not scared." Gunther addresses Goldberg. Goldberg comes out, says, "Enough of this," throws a right, lines up the spear, but Gunther bails. And then you got the main event, Penta versus Seth Rollins, an example of exactly why main eventers should wrestle more on TV. And I said this without the benefit of hindsight. Seth headbutts Penta's fellas, gets a stomp for the win. The Bronze stand menacingly on the ramp as Knight comes in, drops Seth, and runs up the stands, taunting them the whole way. Crowd was going nuts.
Next, we got NXT, July 8th, Ricky versus Vanity Project. Despite some troubles, Ricky runs the Vanity Gauntlet clean and picks the stipulation Falls Count Anywhere for the Great American Bash.
Goodness. Backstage, the women are chatting about Evolution. Laney Reed starts some shit. Lonnie tells her, "Dude, shut up. Make me. I will." Match made later tonight.
We have Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe in a basically spa segment that really is what it sounds like. It's just a spa segment.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much I can really tell you about that. I'm not going to give you the exact way they did their cuticles. Dempsey versus Tavion Heights. Tavion still wants out, and despite a valiant effort, Ren throws in the towel to stop the match before Tavion gets himself killed. And he will remain in the NQCC.
Backstage, Hank and Tank are hyping themselves up for their title defense tonight. Javon tells them to lock in and get their look back like he did, and he proceeds to get slammed into a garage door by Jasper Troy.
Brother. Joe Hendry and Mike Santana versus High Rise. TNA boys get their win, but after they got rocked by Trick and Wes.
Got a Joshi package, Japanese wrestlers, all wishing Inamura good luck for Bash from,
Let me say them.
there you go.
Keiji Muto to Io Sky, Uka Sasaki, and then Kaito Kiyomiya.
Here,
And Noah Superstar.
here you go.
I will tell. Let me tell you, it's way more phonetic than it looks. If you pronounce it, it'll come out fine. It's like Inamura, Yoshiki Inamura. There's one guy who plays for the Red Sox, I think. Masataka Yoshida. I love that name. Everyone looks at it and they're like, "Oh no, what is that?" And then you just read it, and that's how it goes. Anyway, go to the Dark State. It's the same shit, different day. We jump TNA, ain't nobody safe. And this time they say they're looking real close at the tag title match tonight.
We got Brigamora and Oba. All three men are in the ring. Yoshi says he will win with honor. Oba asks if he's ready to die with honor, however. Brig steps
Banger.
in and says, Yoshi beat Jasper easier than Oba, and he's gonna do the same thing on Saturday. Hell breaks loose, and Yoshi body slams Oba outside.
Kalani Jordan versus Laney Reed. Congratulations, first of all, to Kalani and Carmelo Hayes on their engagement. And then congratulations to Lonnie on the win off the split-legged moonsault. And then Thea goes after Laney after the match.
We have the D'Angelo family. All three men step in one by one, each suspicious, but Rizzo, who's alive by the way, tells them to
Thank
shut
goodness.
up and sit down. She knows they all have doubts, and she originally meant to bring them back together, but now, no, it's a lost cause. Each man thinks the other is conspiring against them. Rizzo says, shut up. Triple threat next week. You may cross paths again in WWE, but as far as the family's concerned, this is it. All three men stare down the other, ending the segment.
And you got Jasper Troy. He actually cuts off commentary coming out of the segment. He says, "I'm done with Javon," and tells Ava, "Make the NXT title match triple threat." And then does Javon, despite his injury, rushes out, and they fight like hell.
Got the culling next, Tatum's first vignette in the group. Sean and Vance say they're getting tag gold. Izzy says she's getting the North American title. Tatum says all her new friends will have gold titles to match their golden hearts. Oh, how sweet.
Oh, poor Tatum. She has no idea what's about to hit her. Hank and Tank versus the Culling. Nearly get them off the ladies interfering, but Soul ran out, and so did Zarya. And they fought, and then Zarya carried Tatum away like a dog. And then Hank and Tank meet in the middle. Spears actually took the bullet for Vance, eats that, power slam, and then Hank and Tank retain. Then Chase U. Kale never got his match tonight because he seemed to be having an anxiety attack or something. And Andre was like, "Ugh, fine." But eventually he cooled off and says, "Sure, man, we're good. I'm not gonna screw with your mental health." Then you got the Evolution Summit, which this segment did more for Evolution advertising than anything on the main roster had up to this point. Ava was talking about how awesome it is, how she wanted to be part of it someday, and now she is. She listed the mainstay women's accolades. Fatal Influence comes out, upset that she wasn't mentioned. She was. Says her match is going to steal the show. Jordan comes out, tells her to can it. I'm leaving with the title. Lash Legend comes out, skirt, calls her shot for Clash in Paris. Stephanie Vicaire steps back into the PC and says, "Sure, JC, you won, but she's going to win an Evolution. I'm going to win the Battle Royal." Maxine and Natalia step up. Maxine says, "Hey, man, you can't talk Legends without Natalia." They praise each other, plan to be the last two. Many women come out. Jada calls her shot. Ivy, Lola, Julia, Tatum, Izzy, Candice, Zelina all spill out amongst the crowd. Jada's the first to dive in the ring, and then everyone fights.
And now we are finally on
Oh my god.
this week of programming for WWE television.
We're still probably going to go a little bit faster, but it's going to be more advertising. And we're not going to read the word for word notes because Brendon might have just copied and pasted some shit.
It's not too bad.
Isn't it?
Not really.
Okay. Go for it, buddy.
All right, gotcha. We start off the July 11th SmackDown with an in-ring promo by LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, which leads to a tag match being created on the night between JC Mateo, Solo Sikoa, versus LA Knight and Jimmy Uso.
Oh, brother. I'm getting sick of these SmackDown tag matches, man.
Really?
It's getting old.
Oh,
It's getting
those tag
old.
matches.
Yes, the actual tag division will never tire me. Let them hoop. But these random matches just beginning the show is lame. Anyway, Alexa backstage runs into Charlotte. Alexa says, "Hey, get off your royal duties. Be at my ringside." Charlotte's like, "Dude, we are not friends." And they're allies with convenience because Alexa needs her at ringside because all of their opponents will have their tag partners, and she wants to make a statement before Evolution. Charlotte agrees and asks Alexa, "Do I look like a cheerleader?" Alexa says, "You'd be a terrible cheerleader." Charlotte says, "That's not true. I cheer for myself." I
That
love
leads
that.
us to the.
This pairing I feel like is doing a lot of good for Charlotte's perception, I guess.
I agree. They just assumed whenever she came back that she would be a baby face, but you just can't assume anymore.
They didn't earn the baby face.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think a lot of it is that the woman behind Charlotte Flair is just she's nice, she's kind. Does she politic a little bit? Sure, but what are you gonna do? She might not even politic. I don't know. I'm not back there.
Yeah,
I've Charlotte has grown on me considerably since she's come back.
I would agree as well. But the next match is Alexa Bliss with Charlotte Flair versus Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez versus Kairi Sane with Asuka versus Sol Ruka with Zarya in a fatal four-way match, and the winner is Alexa Bliss via pinfall.
Yep. And then there was one point in this, Sol Ruka did like a backflip over the ropes, and Charlotte was just looking on her like, "Oh my god, what the hell was that?" there's sometimes you see a spot and you wonder, oh crap, I'm too old to do that. I'm too old to do that, and I'm barely old. I'm not even old. Uh, then we get the next match: the champions, Street Profits versus the Wyatt Six for the WWE Tag Team titles. And in what some people would consider a shocker, maybe not, the Wyatt Six are new tag team champions.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, this was a way better match than their first two tag matches with just Loomis and Gacy. I think they need reps.
They do.
There's a good and bad to doing less house shows, and it's good that your guys get time off with their people. They don't have to kill themselves on the road, but they also just need more reps. You see that a lot with like Rhea Ripley, for example. I don't know if you saw her interview with Chris Van Vliet. She was talking about how not having any matches leading up to WrestleMania last year led to her having like a panic attack right before the match.
Mm, yeah, man,
You gotta get reps.
you do.
But they're getting reps and they're tag champs now.
Mm. We go to the back where we see DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Fraxium, dejected about the Y6 becoming the new WWE Tag Team Champions. Chris Sabin says it's funny that Johnny Gargano wants to show up after the nonsense he pulled last week. Gargano says that they can't fixate on the past. Gargano tries to deliver another rah-rah speech that falls on deaf ears.
Death. Death.
Deaf ears. Nathan
Brendon wrote
Frazier tells
death.
DIY to shut up. Frazier says that Fraxium deserves the first title opportunity since the Wyatts screwed them out of their tag team title match. Ray Phoenix and Andrade El Idolo joins the conversation. Idolo informs everybody that they're joining the tag team division. Tommaso Ciampa, in result, starts throwing a massive fit.
Not just government name Andrade. Oh man. Uh Fred Durst was in the house for the show. Where was this?
This was in Nashville.
Eh, weird. Poirier's from Lafayette.
Well, you know UFC, WWE are buddy buddy.
Mm.
And that's probably why they
Oh,
had Jelly Roll.
don't get me started. Because up next, Jelly Roll, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre were involved in a segment. Jelly plays one of his songs. Logan cuts him off and tells Jelly, "You're an outsider. Go away. No one likes you. Right back at you, buddy." Randy came out seemingly actually pissed off. He's like, "Dude, are you kidding me? You can't say that, man. You're the outsider." And then Drew Claymore's Randy as Jelly helplessly looks on.
We get Aleister Black versus Ron Killings, and Ron Killings gets the win.
Hey, he rolled him up. The roll up, man, it got him like 50, 57, 24/7 titles. Interesting. Yeah, but backstage, Alistair was in hot pursuit, speed walking towards Ron, who just didn't seem to care where he was going. And Damien's like, "Dude, calm down." And Alistair's like, "You know what? You're right." He walks away, and then he comes back. On second thought, wha-bam, right in the face. And you put this is his first heel turn since Black and Gold.
Yeah, I believe it's his first heel turn since NXT Black and Gold.
Huh. Fairly confident he was a heel in the AEW, but I don't know for sure.
Well, WWE.
Yeah.
We got Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, Trish Stratus, and Jade Cargill in a segment with Wade Barrett next.
Yeah, I mean it was Tiffany and Trish, I think, that were having a talk about their match. Naomi says, "Hey, I could cash in on you." And then Jade comes out and just jumps her ass. Beautiful stuff. Those two have been fighting like hell. I love it. You got J- uh Big Jim, LA Knight versus Solo and JC. MFTs. That's the one. What the hell does that stand for? My Family Trees? Hmm. Either way, Big Jim and Knight win via pinfall. On to the Great American Bash. The thing everyone really cares about.
But first match, Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy. The winner is Javon Evans via pinfall. After that, we get a
Yeah.
Jada Parker vignette.
My ranking for shows this weekend, WWE exclusively. All In was on top because it was their biggest show of the year, so it's kind of not fair to rank that. So it was Evolution, Bash, and then just a lot of stuff, and then main event. But yeah, Stax is looking forward, putting the nail in the D'Angelo coffin. Pokes fun at Mike the Situation, Lexus King, Santino Morella, Miles Bourne, Gregory Paul, and A Train as challengers for his Heritage Cup trophy.
Sarah
Then
Schreiber had a backstage interview with Sol Ruka, and Sol's riding high off of her SmackDown debut last night. However, she's in full tunnel vision mode. Sol knows that Izzy Dame is a master manipulator, but she's going to get her soul snatched. Zarya promises to make sure that Tatum Paxley doesn't get in the way. Zaruka is also excited about walking out of Atlanta as brand new WWE Tag Team Champions at Evolution.
yeah, then you got Soul versus Zarya with Izzy. Nope, Soul with Zarya versus Izzy with the Calling for the NXT North American title. Soul gets the win because Zarya speared Tatum Paxley in half, and then she hits Soul Snatcher, which to this day I don't think has been kicked out of, and I don't think it ever should be.
Agreed. We got a Lola Vice vignette next, and after that, Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe are ready to take down Fatal Influences. Blake is calling tonight's match a little appetizer before her muscle muffin becomes the NXT Women's Champion at WWE Evolution.
Where have I seen this play out before? Third match, Ethan versus Ricky. You can have this one.
Ethan versus Ricky and a Falls Count Anywhere match for the WWE NXT North American Championship, and the winner is Ethan Page via pinfall.
Yeah, this is a really good match, honestly.
I
I
heard it
went
was
into it.
the best match of the night. Would you agree?
Uh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, a little bit of controversy though. Jasper Troy actually threw Ricky into a crate during the match because he got in the way, and Jasper was still upset about his loss. But yeah, every time these guys just threw each other around, I kept wincing. It was a really good match. Ethan retains. And you got the contract signing for the TNA title match at Slammiversary. It goes exactly how you think it does. Trick talks shit. Mike and Joe put him through the table, and then they argue about who's gonna win. It's neither.
We get a
Then
Kalani Jordan vignette next, and after that, Tony D'Angelo says that his match with Stax and Luca Crucifino will be the final ride. He has a parting gift for Stax. The Don stole Stax's Heritage Cup trophy. He puts the trophy in a garbage bag and launches it into a river.
this makes me wonder if they're just gonna get rid of the Heritage Cup from here on.
Maybe.
Um, then you got the fourth match, Oba versus Yoshi with Josh Briggs for the NXT title. Briggs hit Oba in the back of the head with the title. Yoshi made the climb, and Briggs was jumping. He's like, "Yeah, get him, get him!" And then Yoshi looks at the title in his hand. He's like, "What are you doing? What is that? I said I'd win with honor, not like that." And then Oba wins. Lash Legend has a vignette. Trick complains to Ava about the attack. Ava suggests Trick had Darkstate do his dirty work tonight because that's right. Trick and Joe and Mike Santana got jumped by Darkstate after the match. And Trick says, I didn't have anything to do with that. Ava wants to put that theory to the test. Next week on NXT, Dark State will battle Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana in a six-man tag match. And then one of the memes of the weekend was born as Trick says, "Oh hell no!"
Oba got into a backstage confrontation with Josh Briggs. Uh, Femi tells Inamura that he deserves better and he's willing to give him another title shot down the road. And then we finally go to our last match of the night, Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence with Jasmine Nix. And the winners are Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe via pinfall.
Yep, pretty succinct. Blake pinned JC in her first match in NXT. Then we go on to Saturday night's main event. Randy defeated Drew in the post match. Jelly Roll and Logan got into it, and Drew Claymore Jelly. It was later made official that it would be Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
This reminds me of the
Uh,
time that Justin Bieber almost fought the Wyatts.
excuse me.
Yeah, that actually almost happened at SummerSlam one year. Justin Bieber in like a three-person tag match versus the Wyatts.
Yeah.
You can look it up later.
Oh, I'm looking it up now. On r/squared circle, former WWE writer Justin Bieber wanted to wrestle at SummerSlam in 2014, teaming with Cena and The Big Show to face the Wyatt family. Another point that was raised when discussing the potential match was whether it would have been a bad PR move for Bieber to do business with the WWE. You want to talk about PR? Oh, we'll talk about PR. Oh, God.
But the next match, Naomi attacked Jade Cargill in the crowd and ignited a brawl, and as a result, SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis named Bianca Belair the special guest referee for their No Holds Barred match at WWE Evolution on Sunday.
You know, I was excited when I heard Bianca's music hit. I'm always excited when I hear Bianca's music hit. But my first thought was after I thought, "Oh God, Bianca's back! Hell yeah!" My first thought was, "What does a referee even do in No Holds Barred? They dare to count the pinfall. That's kind of it."
Yeah, and you'll see that your theory kind of stood true.
Yeah.
But Solo defeats Jimmy, LA Knight defeats Seth Rollins, and this is the big one right here because after the
Yeah.
match, we would find that Rollins tweaked his knee, leaving his future in question.
Yeah. He went to do, I think it was a lion salt, the springboard middle rope moonsault. He came down on his knee and just grabbed it immediately. This match was about 5 minutes, it felt like. And Seth got up, and rather than ending the match, he had Knight hit him with the BFT, and Knight got the win. And we don't have an answer yet on how long Seth's going to be out, but I've seen pictures of him in crutches. So it's not looking great.
Yeah.
But I have a theory. I don't know for sure. I could be a lunatic for saying this, but walk with me.
All right.
He is injured, but not as bad as we want it. Not as bad as they're telling us.
And they're gonna
They'll
work
say
us, and he's
he
gonna cash in.
they're gonna say he's out like 5 or 6 months. He'll come back in like October and just snatch a chain from somebody. And we will never have seen it coming. I hope that's the case, honestly.
Yeah.
But if it isn't, get well, Seth. You do not deserve this. You deserve to be healthy. Now,
And
this
then
match,
yeah.
this was. I don't know. I guess did it have to go long because Seth got hurt? but
Probably it probably had to take up for lost time, which is likely what led to uh number one, this being Goldberg's longest match of his career, and number two, NBC deciding to cut his retirement speech short.
that was just BS. That was not okay. You don't do that.
What are you talking about? Bill Goldberg deserves this.
Speaking of Goldberg, Bret Hart has some new ammo because Charles Robinson took a spear and he has broken
I
ribs.
saw that. I'm like, how ironic that this
Poor
happened.
Chuck. Poor Chuck.
Not even the referees are safe.
Oh God. Chucky Chuck. He's okay though. He's a man. He's a big strong man.
Your referee's favorite referee.
Oh yeah. I gotta tell you, I was simultaneously watching Saturday Night's Main Event and AEW All In. I'm not gonna say that it blew this weekend out of the water, but on Saturday, it was not even close to the same level of competition, man.
Yeah, it just seemed like WWE had a lot of filler to just make up for social media impressions. Like they had like what, three shows on the same weekend?
Two on Saturday, one on Sunday. It's counter booking. It's so lame to do this. Like, you guys are gonna counter Adam Page versus John Moxley in a Texas death match with Goldberg? You
Well, it
guys
would have
gonna
been
counter
crazy
that
if Goldberg
with
actually
Jelly Roll?
beat Gunther. Imagine the social media impressions that would have done.
Dude, no one would be happy by that.
Yeah, exactly.
Still, congratulations, Hangman, for basically hanging John Moxley and winning the title.
Yeah.
And then we go to the show of the weekend for WWE, Evolution. And I just gotta say, I said this earlier, the build for this show was not as good as it deserved to be. NXT did so much more building for this show in one segment than the main roster did in the entire weeks leading up to it. And that just makes it even more satisfying that these women went out there and fucking killed it.
Honestly,
Because there was not a bad match on this card, not even a meh match. All of these matches were great.
and you can make an argument for essentially just about every single one of these matches for being the best match of the night.
Yeah, even though I do think there is one that was just a notch above everything else.
I honestly, there was so much good wrestling that
There was.
it's kind after we recap Evolution, we'll go into our top three. How about that?
Of the matches?
Yeah, of our matches that happened at Evolution.
Oh man. Okay. Um so first, to start off the show, Becky Lynch defeats Bailey. Two women who were on the original Evolution card. And also Lyra Valkyria in a triple threat match, which stole the pin. She stole the pin via a sidewinder roll up to retain the IC championship. Which this match was just a classic in technical wrestling. Lyra Valkyria has been thrown into the deep end with the big players in the women's division, and she is killing it. She might be my favorite woman on the roster right now.
Yeah, and
She's just so damn good.
and um, I want to say this. I'm trying to formulate more words. SmackDown has the tag division, and what Raw has is the women's mid card title.
Yes, absolutely. SmackDown, their tag division is head and shoulders above the rest. The women's division in general, honestly, is just above the rest.
Honestly, they honestly could start their own women's only promotion if
Well,
they
there is
wanted to.
one. I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
wow. Women of Wrestling.
uh well, there's another one in Japan. I think it's Stardom.
But if they wanted to, they totally could.
Oh yeah.
But nevertheless.
Yeah. Stardom is a women's only promotion known as Joshi Puroresu, which is women's professional wrestling.
How original.
and Julia came out of there. Let's see who else we know has come out of Stardom. I think Blake Monroe was over there for a little while. There's a lot of wrestlers that are in AEW right now are over there.
Yeah, basically everybody over there has a Ribera Steakhouse jacket.
What?
Oh, you don't know about this. In Tokyo, there is a steakhouse called Ribera Steakhouse. And back in the 70s, whenever Bruiser Brody was touring Japan, he craved steak and he found this hole in the wall steak joint called Ribera Steakhouse. And he loved it so much, he asked them to make merchandise. And what they did is they essentially made biker jackets with like Ribera Steakhouse and their logo on the back. And it is essentially become a rite of passage or like an honor to have one of these jackets if you're a wrestler. All wrestlers that go through Japan at some point in their careers most likely have one of these jackets.
Actually, really cool.
I know I can share a YouTube video with you. I saw it, I want to say 3 days ago.
Nice. But yeah, all these women that have come out of Stardom, Io Sky, Kyrie, Mayu Iwatani, Tony Storm went through there between before WWE actually. Julia, Tami Hayashishita, Tam Nakano, Mina Shirakawa, and Tekla, all women that are in AEW. But yeah, it's a very talented promotion. And I think this show specifically will tell you. I honestly think this might have rewired Triple H's brain to be like, oh shit, maybe they're actually not that. Maybe they're actually worth booking outside of my favorites. Because this whole show was just like, I'm not gonna lie. This was just. This might have been the best WWE PLE since last SummerSlam.
I would agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Damn.
I did a quick
Yeah.
rewind of every PLE that happened since, and yes, I totally agree.
You could say Elimination Chamber, but there were some spots in that show which was just
Yeah.
a mess. WrestleMania Night 1 disqualifies it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was the best one since last SummerSlam. And the Judgment Day is still together. God. Anyway, say the next thing.
We're on the which are we on the second or the third match right now in the read?
Second.
Second? Alright. JC Jane defeats Jordan Grace via help from Blake Monroe, who hit Jordan in the back with the NXT Women's Championship. And after the match, she would hand deliver the belt back to JC Jane.
Yeah, I figured out that this was coming a good 10 minutes before the match started. I just looked at myself, remembered that's right, Blake Monroe is an evil lesbian who will go every length possible to cost the blonde women in her life everything they want. If you go watch the Tony Storm feud, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Poor Muscle Muffin should have known what was coming. Took a title to the back.
Yes,
This was a good match. This was a good match too. But they honestly, I think they started and ended the show the best way possible.
I agree.
But yeah, JC is still NXT champion, and she has a match with Masha Slamovich at TNA Slammiversary. Both titles on the line.
Yeah,
Then Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez against Shalexa, the Kabuki Warriors, and Zaruka. And this match, I loved this match. It was a bit of a clunky mess, but that's kind of what happens with 8 people tag matches and 4 different teams. The hot tag that Alexa got to Charlotte, the pop that she got, actually brought a tear to my eye. They went nuts
it's super
for
helped
Charlotte Flair.
because like Georgia loves the Flares.
Yeah, I mean that too, but also I think Charlotte is just she's a very entertaining person. I was watching her on Taker's podcast, and I'm just like, damn, this is the woman people hate on? Like, be serious, guys. I'm not saying that for clicks or anything. I mean that. That's just there was a poll that came out that said she was the most hated on wrestler on Twitter. And it's just like, why? But in the last year, she's won the Rumble, lost the match at Mania, and done practically nothing since to warrant this hatred. But I guess her being a woman is enough for some of these people.
Then we have some of our other matches. We have Tiffany Stratton beating
We
Trish
didn't even say the
Stratus.
result.
Oh, you
Didn't
didn't
get
say the
to the
result.
result.
Sorry.
I did not. I did not get to the result. Um, yeah, Roxanne and Raquel win the match. Charlotte saved Alexa from getting speared in half by Zarya, which was a beautiful sight because you could see him on the turn, like against the turnbuckles after. Alexa's like, "What just happened?" And Charlotte's like, "What did I just do? Did I just do that?" And she did. And then Raquel Tahana bombed Soul through the mat for the win. The ending was a little clunky. I think from Charlotte saving Alexa to the end of it, it could have gone a few ticks faster. But if that's my only critique of the match, hey, what are you going to do? Because Roxanne and Raquel retain.
Yep. And next we have Tiffany Stratton beating Trish Stratus, and man, Trish can still go. That's for sure.
Yeah, Trish can Trish can go, but Tiffany was doing some shit I've never seen before in this match. She was just pulling out early 2000s Ring of Honor moves in the middle of this one. I saw someone say her moveset should be 2005 Ring of Honor finishers, and that's it. Somebody wants her to bring back the Pepsi plunge. But yeah, Tiffany retains the title, and Trish got her moment after the match where where it made me think for a second, oh no, is she gonna retire? And then there's news out there that she wants to wrestle again this year, so I'm guessing not. But after this match, I remember telling myself, "Oh God, it's so over for EO," because none of the champions had lost. You can't have a women's show. You can't have a pay per view without no titles changing. Can't have that again, especially not one as monumental as this. Jade Cargill versus Naomi, no holds barred with Bianca as special guest referee. This kind of proves my point of what is a referee is supposed to do in this kind of match, because Bianca didn't do much, but she was still there, and I think it still was pretty neat to have all three of these women involved in the show. And honestly, I feel like Bianca being special guest referee was just a way to get her on Evolution.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I would I. Hmm. It's either to further the feud or just to put her on the card. Either could make a case.
Both.
But afterwards, Stephanie Vicaire wins the Women's Battle Royal, earning a championship match at Clash in Paris.
Let me get a hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh man. They it's I know it's Stephanie won, but I gotta highlight Lash Legend in this match. She was incredible, and she was the runner up. She did. I This was her. She did what Roxanne did in the Royal Rumble. She put her name out there to the main roster and said, "Hey, fuck you, I'm here,"
Mm-hmm.
and she deserves her shine absolutely because she's definitely going to get a singles push now that her tag partner was let go and that whole group was dissolved. But she did so good. And then Stephanie hit the devil's kiss on the ring apron to send her off. That was a pretty creative finish.
I agree.
But yeah, she actually eliminated, was it Nikki? She kicked Nikki in the face. And then she and Stephanie dumped Naya, and then Stephanie dumped uh Lash. And I'm so glad they brought the Battle Royal back for this show
Hmm.
because it was such a big part of the first one. I would still wish they would have brought the Mae Young Classic back, but I don't know. There might be some like difficulties with the name. Something about Mae Young. I don't know. But then we go to our main event. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. Oh my god. Dude. I don't know if the graps get more real, brother. This match was one of the best that I've ever sat down and watched. There's a reason it was the longest no stipulation. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube. Longest match without a stipulation in women's wrestling in WWE. And it deserved every second and then some. Ref bumps, action on the outside, everything going on. But that's not even the end of it because both women are on the ground, beat to hell and back. And then in the surprise of the night, the woman who had just lost, Naomi, runs out, cashes in, and becomes the new women's world champion. What a way to close Evolution.
Absolutely.
This was such a deserved pay-per-view. This show should not be 7 years until this show comes back. They should do this every year because this was the best show of the year. And I think that people are starting to get a different perspective on women's wrestling because of how well they've been doing in general, but also specifically because they tuned in and they watched every woman on this show put their best foot forward and it paid off.
Agreed.
But I got to tell you, I was not expecting Naomi to cash in on this match.
I wasn't either.
I was that was such a good swerve because she was talking about Tiffany and Jade and all of that, and now she's on Raw. Okay, I hard to say this without sounding like a suck up chud or something. But this show made me so happy because the women deserve this. They deserve every second, not only for them, but for the ones who have come before them, for the ones who, aren't still here to see where women's wrestling has come. They deserve every second of praise, every second of cheers, every second of pyro, of theme song, of commentary going crazy. They more than earned it.
I completely agree. They deserve this and more. Now, Logan, what were your three favorite matches of the night? Top three favorite matches.
Top three favorite matches.
It's hard, isn't it?
No,
Really?
I've got a definitive favorite three. They're all really close, but I've got a definitive favorite three. My first favorite actually was to open the show, Bailey and Lyra and Becky. It was just beautiful, beautiful wrestling. Maybe the most story build, probably the most story build out of any match on this show. What's your first?
Would either be the opener or the main event.
Yeah, the main event and the opener are kind of 1A, 1B, but
If I had to pick
I
two,
just love Lyra right now.
I ooh, I really liked the Fatal 4-Way Tag match. The finish kind of irked me a little bit because I thought it came to an abrupt end, but that was a really good match.
Yeah, that's my three too. So it's Becky, Lyra Bailey, Rhea and Io plus Naomi, and then the tag
Yeah.
match.
This show was just fun.
It was everything wrestling should be. I gotta tell you though, there were some times where they just kept cutting to people in the crowd, and I'm like, why are there men on this show? Get out. Go away. Like they showed Mark Henry, I'm like, okay, that's Mark Henry. Everyone loves Mark Henry. And then they showed Vicky Guerrero. Uh Back to talking about PR moves. Why was Vicky Guerrero here? She is not a good person. Yikes. Not a good look, WWE.
All right.
Especially on a show that champions women's wrestling.
All right, let's move on to Raw.
Yeah, Evolution was so beautiful. Brought a tear to my eye. But yeah, Raw. Still starts off 7:14. Where was this?
Uh, Birmingham, I believe.
Birmingham. Uh, let's see. Let's go to WrestleView.
I'm.
Mike
It was
Tedesco come
Birmingham.
through. Yep, Birmingham, the Legacy Arena at the BJCC. Okay, Naomi kicks off the show. She's the new women's world champion, baby. And she tells all the heifers backstage to proceed with caution. And then Rhea's music plays. And I wrote this as she entered, so tell me if I'm right. She's going to say she deserves a title shot because she didn't get pinned and she's going to challenge her for SummerSlam. And then I wrote Io's music cut her off before she got the chance. She tells Rhea, get in the back of the line. Naomi tells them, both of you get in the back of the line. And then Baldy interrupted and firstly congratulated Naomi, as he should be. This is Naomi's first title in 8 years. First singles title in 8 years in WWE. And he also makes it official. We got ourselves a triple threat at SummerSlam for the world title.
Love it. Moving on, we have the Judgment Day. Finn is holding all the titles. He's Chanamola and lauds over the women and tells Dom to escort the women down to the ring for their match against the Kabuki Warriors. Finn is trying so hard to get Dom to want Roxanne.
He is. It's so funny. It's like, hey, don't you want to flirt with her? And Dom's just looking at her like, no.
And I loved Corey's I love what Corey said on commentary for our next match with the Kabuki Warriors versus Rock Squell. He said, just because
Roxquell?
that's what you wrote.
Roxquell? That's not how it's said. Raquel. Roxkel,
Ah,
my friend.
sorry, I read it like a prescription. Sorry,
Silly man.
but he explained on commentary just because you're on a diet doesn't mean you can't look at the menu, which
Okay, bro.
I thought was funny.
Okay. Oh man. Then we get Kabuki Warriors versus Roxkel. Dominic interfered as expected, and he tried again, but Asuka backhanded him. She got rolled up by Roxanne. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater.
Next we got Seth and Crew. Paul tells Kathy that
Sans Seth.
was that.
Sans Seth.
What's that supposed to mean?
Without.
Oh, okay. Paul tells Kathy that he doesn't know. Tells Kathy that Seth is cool waiting until next year to cash in, but tonight is about Braun Breaker running the gauntlet and beating Gunther, and he does that freaking intimidating stare at the camera.
Braun or Paul?
No, Braun.
I'm just like, Paul Heyman's intimidating now?
I mean, maybe to some people.
I don't know. We got a Lyra interview. Oh yeah, but that segment just kind of backs up in my mind like maybe this is kind of a work. I have no doubt that Seth might actually be hurt, but I do wonder if they would perhaps have made it look more serious than it actually is, just to surprise us.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. But we get a Lyra interview. She is sick of hearing about Bailey. Says she's going to win the match tonight, put all that behind her, and get back to Becky. Bailey packs her down and tells Lyra, stay the hell out of the way. And what the hell? We have a 2 out of 3 falls match on regular TV? Hello? This is only the second one of those this year. And the first one was at the Royal Rumble. It was a tag match. This is why I say I think this match just rewired Triple H's brain. Because this whole show was the whole 2 hours of this show leading into the main event were just the women. It was like Evolution 2.5. I could not complain even a little bit. Because this might have been one of the best Raws of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the match, 2 out of 3 falls. I just still can't believe we got that on free television. Crazy. Bailey stole the first fall with a roll-up, some ring psychology to get Lyra mad. Lyra countered her way into the second fall. And after some masterclass wrestling, Lyra hit the Nightwing for the third fall to face Becky at SummerSlam. And Becky comes out in some familiar colors, kind of playing in to the whole Becky Hogan thing.
She has heard the rumors.
Oh, gosh, I love it. I love it. I needed to come out to Real American just to say hell with you guys. I do what I want,
But
but I also don't want Hulk Hogan to get any credibility.
yeah, Stephanie Vicaire is backstage. She talks about her title shot in Paris. Chelsea and her secret Hervis say she should instead be in Paris. Steph tells her to take her best shot, and Chelsea scrambles away.
Yeah, it was also made official before the show. Chelsea Green versus Nikki Bella. We're gonna get to that. Cross has a segment. Scarlett calls Sammy a liar for pretending to be hurt, and Cross says, Sammy, don't come back to work until you can admit that Cross told the truth. And I swear to God, I forgot what he's talking about. What truth? What truth is he talking about? I forget completely.
We'll find out later.
Yep. Then we get Chelsea Green versus Nikki Bella. Nikki's first single match in I think 7 years. Good for her. And she took out the Hervis and she won off the Rack Attack 2.0. It looked like she for a second was going to go for the first one, like muscle memory. And then she was like, "Oh, wait, I have a neck problem." And then she hit 2.0. And then she gets absolutely plastered by Piper after. She got decked. Steph came out to make the save, and they hugged after, and I feel like that's a setup for SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. Backstage, the New Day is still grieving with Waller. Waller offers Pierce toupees for his baldness. Tag title qualifier coming up. Pierce approaches Judgment Day and tells Dom he's got to reconsider his medical state. Dom versus AJ is probably happening at SummerSlam, and
Let me say
AJ.
this. Let me say this.
There you go. I'll let you say it.
It goes from Dom. Dom, by the way, Pierce is talking to him. He's telling him, like, hey, man, you went out there, you took a hit. Your ribs seem okay. Let's get you looked at. And Dom's like, but no, I can't. And then Finn's like, you're okay. You got a doctor's note. And then the camera just hands over, and AJ Styles is down on one knee, praying to the good Lord above. He's looking at this guy. He's like, God, please let me have this. Let him be healthy. I'll do anything for you, man. And then Dominic is like, man, you're so weird. And he prays to God himself. He's like, God, don't let him do this to me. And it cuts back to AJ. He's like, God, don't listen to him. Just let me have this.
I love, I love these segments.
Dude, AJ is really one of the best to ever do it. He really is. It's so funny. I made a gif of that, of him praying. Oh my God. I can't help myself. It's hilarious. Anyway, we got Rusev backstage. He's getting interviewed by Kathy about his match a couple weeks ago. Moose steps in, Shea Moose, and says, "Hey, buddy, you thought that was the end of it? Ah, you cheated. We're getting a rematch at some point, probably SummerSlam."
Yeah, Gunther next. He all but calls Bill Goldberg the B word.
Bitch.
Can't escape the tapping out allegation. Says whoever he faces at SummerSlam will lose anyway. Braun's music hits. Paul offers Gunther his hand, and the general actually shakes it. Big Gunt cuts off Heyman and says he's out. Braun stands in front of him. Paul says again that Braun is running the gauntlet. Yada yada yada. Braun allows Gunther to leave the ring amicably.
Yep. And then we get the gauntlet match. Braun in first. Penta is second. Spear to Penta. Knight comes out. Spear to Knight. Jay comes out. Throws Braun out of the ring. And now, take in mind, Braun's been in here for a good 25 minutes at this point. Jay throws him out, and he calls for his music again mid-match after his entrance. And he just starts yeeting into the commercial break. I thought this was a clever way to get Braun a breather. Because that man was exhausted. But he still did it. Bronson pulled Jay off the top rope, spear to Uso, and so far Braun had run the gauntlet clean. Well, about as clean as it can be. And then out comes Phillip. Bronson interferes. Jay saves. Braun tries to spear. GTS. Phillip is going to SummerSlam. CM Punk versus Gunther is finally happening. But not before paying for it. Because Punk gets jumped. Jay gets dropped. Braun stacks the boys, ready to commit a homicide with a double tsunami. And just when you think he's gone forever, the tribal drums start playing. And Roman Reigns, finally fresh out of PTO, is back. The crowd goes nuts. And the bad guys get wrecked. That, in essence, was Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
One of
And
the better of the year.
yeah,
Because it was mostly the women.
and let's kind of somewhat quickly go through NXT.
Yeah. Because you got to edit this before you go to work. Because you got a real job.
I might edit tomorrow, honestly.
Oh, brother. You just got to put an intro and an outro.
No, I need to find the time cues. I forgot to write them down.
Oh, no. That's not good. You just lump the whole first week together. Honestly. It's just the last week we missed. But yeah, NXT 715, fresh out of the PC in Orlando. Fatal Influence. JC Jane is hoarse because she got elbowed in the throat. Says she's going to keep surprising all of them every week when she keeps winning. Says her cohorts dropped the ball on Saturday, but thanks to an evil blonde, she retained. She calls out Masha Slamovich. Cue the music. Masha points out, JC, you would have lost if Blake wasn't evil. JC says, I'll be the woman with 2 titles. The only woman in the company with 2 titles. And then Soul walks out, points out she has 2 herself, and she's actually carrying the speed title. Good to see that. And she puts her money on Masha. Zarya says Soul was weekend MVP because she wrestled 3 matches within 3 days. They get in the ring. Jasmine says Fatal Influence deals with their own problems, which Zarya didn't like. Bedlam ensues.
Get Hendry, Trick, Santana versus Dark State. Teenage boys are cooking. Trick was upset he didn't get tagged in. The boys punch him in the face. All of Dark State was in the ring, and Trick and Mike realize their mistake. Their fellow TNA competitors assist him, come in, and attack, ending the match.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the system, so I don't know. I don't know any of that. Women's locker room, you got earlier Ariana and Carmen say they should have been in the Battle Royal. Callie Armstrong, the Evolve champion, says, I'm better than both of you. And Carmen says, okay, we'll fight.
Yeah,
And they do fight.
yeah. Callie Armstrong versus Carmen Petrovic mid-match. Jordan charges in and beats on the competitors, demanding a mic, with which she calls out Blake to get her ass out here. The GM charge in to tell her that Blake isn't here. The video package plays that says Blake thinks Jordan isn't worth anything because she's not as hot and not as good, and invites Jordan to watch her singles debut next week. Jordan puts down the GMs. Ava walks into the ramp with security and tries to sell her down.
Yeah, fat chance. Team Undertaker from LFG. This whole thing is just an ad spot for LFG. They advertise Taker. He's going to be at NXT next week in Texas. Trick tells him, "You guys suck. Get out of my way." One of them steps up to Trick. I think it was Sexy BJ Ray. And then Trick walks away. They're all like, "What the heck was that?" And then Shiloh gets a phone call from Undertaker as we go to commercial.
We have Ava telling Jasper to stop jumping people. Jasper doesn't like that. He says Ricky walked up on him during the match. Ava says next week it's Jasper v. Ricky in Houston to settle this. Jasper says he's gonna break him.
Okay, Bane. Backstage, Sarah's interviewing Lash for her incredible performance in the Battle Royal. She sets her sights on the NXT titles. Jada steps in, says her line, and makes her point that no, it's gonna be me.
We have family packages, one for Tony, one for Stax, one about Luca, and they're all addressing their pasts, and that all ends tonight.
Let me tell you about this match. This match was, first of all, very good, very entertaining from a triple threat standpoint. But at the end, I don't know if you saw this. Stax swings the crowbar at Luca. He whiffed. And then Tony just puts him through the wall. And then a couple seconds after that, he threw Stax out of the wall like Uncle Phil did in Fresh Prince. Did you see that? Somebody made an edit of it on Twitter, and I cried laughing because he just, oh my goodness, he launched him, and then he put Luca through the table, and then he threw Stax into the ring, nailed him with a spine buster, and it's a fresh start for the one-time Don.
No quarter catch cruise next. Tavion is annoyed that Ren threw in the towel. It's not about leaving the crew, but he just wants to prove himself. Charlie walks in and Tavion puts his hands up. Ren stops their bickering because she has a match next week against Blake.
Poor kid. They're feeding her to Blake. Briggs is very clearly bitter. He hasn't gotten an NXT title match on a PLE. Calls Yoshi too nice. Opal makes his way down, calls him jealous. Yoshi comes out and basically says, "What the heck? What the hey, dude?" Oba says Yoshi deserves a title shot. Briggs says BS. Yoshi says, "Shut up. I'll do what I have to do to win the title, but I'll do that shit with honor." And Briggs calls for a triple threat for the NXT title next week between them. Oba doesn't say this exactly, but I think this is such a hard line from wherever it comes from. Pride goeth before the fall. And then they fight.
Next, we have Ethan Page talks about great days, Canadian Independence Day, 4th of July, and Saturday, where he nearly broke his back to retain. He is celebrating next Tuesday, says he's fine, and he's going to do whatever he has to, even though he lost, says Jasper's going to pay for his confidence.
That was a Ricky interview.
That was a Ricky interview?
Yeah, Ricky. It cut to Ricky after Ethan's vignette. So yeah, Ricky said he's fine. He's going to do whatever he has to, even though he lost. And Jasper's going to pay for his confidence. Because that match was later made official for next week in Texas. Then we got a 6-woman tag match. Fatal Influence versus Zaruka and Masha. Izzy and the Culling, actually, before the show, were standing backstage and was like, "Oh, these guys." And then as soon as Zaruka walk off, Tatum's crying in a corner for being bad last week. And Izzy's like, "I'm not mad at you." And Tatum's like, "You're not?" And it's gonna break my heart when the inevitable turn happens and they hurt poor Tatum. She does not deserve this cruel treatment because she just said, "I've got an idea to get him." And then late in the match, the Culling ran out to attack Zaruka, but Soul just jumped off the steps and clobbered Tatum. And Soul and Zarya run off against the women. Hank and Tank attacked Spears and Vance and ran them off. So it was all Masha in the ring against all of Fatal Influence. But she prevailed with a Northern Lights bomb and NLB for the win, which does not bode well for Slammiversary. Because why on God's earth is JC Jane about to be a double champion? Like JC. I don't like her that much.
I'm not
I have
sure.
some sense. But yeah, that's NXT. That's the last 2 weeks of WWE programming. And somehow I think we managed that at a normal pace.
We did. We're at
Oh,
an hour and 21 at the moment.
holy crap. How about that?
Making good time.
Look at that. I'm gonna have to scroll through that later to find something I can upload to TikTok. But yeah, Brendon, welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
2 months that I have been all alone managing this by myself. He's finally back. Now, if you bail on me next week, you understand I'm going to find you, right?
I understand you're gonna have a long drive to come and get me, but you'd waste no time.
I've made worse drives for less. So if I get a text from you that says, "Hey man, do you think you can find someone else?"
I'll find you and I'll kill you.
I'm going to find you. I will. I will hunt you down and burn your apartment down.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm serious. Because what was originally supposed to be 2 weeks turned into 2 months. And I am sick of it. Because I have been here for every episode. Even though I have a life of my own. I'm losing my mind, Brendon.
I hear that.
So you better be here next week.
I will.
Take notes for SmackDown.
I will.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been No Stipulations. Subscribe to us. Like the video. Leave a comment. Say what you like the most. Or if you hate us, just leave a comment anyway. I don't care. I do care. Please comment if you liked it. If you didn't like it, why are you still here? Follow us on our Instagram, on our Twitter, our TikTok. This has been Logan. That's Brendon. Say bye, Brendon.
Bye bye.
And that has been the episode of No Stipulations. See you guys.